CBT is about the connection between how you think, how you feel, and how you react. But it's not as rigid as that. So often when you hear people talking about cognitive behavioural therapy, it may sound like it. It may sound like people are saying, all you've got to do is change your thinking and everything else changes. And then people have tried that and they've tried to change their thinking, and then they've got stuck because there are some thoughts that are just automatic, that are just in your head. And by the time you start trying to address them and change them, they're already there and you're already in the flow of whatever the problem thinking, problem behaviour, problem feelings is. So it's important to remember that although addressing thinking is a large part of cognitive behavioural therapy, there is also addressing the beliefs and the underlying issues. And there's the recognition that based on the patterns of responding that you've learned through your lifetime, you will sometimes respond in an unhealthy way before you've had time to change that or to do anything about it. But you can change it after the fact. So, for example, if you had a phobia, if you had a fear of spiders, when you see a spider, you panic, and then you have thoughts around panicking, around fear, and your behaviour might be to run away from the spider. If you try and do cognitive behavioural therapy, you start trying to analyse your thinking, you start trying to think differently, but you're already running away from the spider at the point that you do that. But what you can do is after the fact, in another time period when you're calm and relaxed, you can work on creating a new automatic response so that in future situations, that's not the way things go. You see a spider and you think, oh, it's a spider. I'm probably not going to pick it up, but I'm okay with it. So some things you can't change in the moment in that way because the initial response has already happened. All you can do is learn how to cope with it and have coping strategies, but you can change it later for future events. So the way the mind works is that information comes into our senses from the world around us. That information goes to the deep parts of our brain, and from a survival perspective, we respond emotionally first. So we don't respond instantly with thoughts, we respond with an emotion first. And that emotion can trigger thoughts, or it can trigger immediate behaviour even before thinking. So you can see a spider, for example, and that spider can trigger you to feel fear and run away. Even before you click in your head with thoughts, what am I running away from? Why am I suddenly feeling fear? But what can happen is, once that's triggered, things cycle around. So something could happen to you at work, that makes you feel anxious perhaps. Then that anxiety leads to thinking, everyone hates me, whatever negative thinking that you're doing. That negative thinking feeds back into the feelings. So that negative thinking then causes a new set of feelings, causes the anxiety feelings perhaps, or depression feelings, whatever feelings you've got, causes that to be fed by those thoughts. And then those feelings can alter your behaviour. So perhaps now you shut yourself away, you stop talking to your work colleagues, and you start making these behavioural changes. You start behaving, for example, maybe you hunch over, maybe you make yourself small and in a corner somewhere. So you're doing these behavioural changes, and then all of that can feed back into the thinking. Yeah, everyone's ignoring me. That's evidence that nobody likes me, when the reason is that you're carrying away and hiding in a corner so no one's paying attention to you, or people think you want to be left alone. So it's a bit more complicated than just saying the thinking affects the feelings, which affect how you react to situations. It can be in multiple different ways. So your behaviour, you could perhaps trip over in the street, suddenly you think, I bet I looked really stupid, and then you feel embarrassed. So then it was your behaviour driving your thinking and your feelings. So it can happen in multiple different ways, but it's to address your thinking, your feelings, and how you respond to the world around you.